Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for the blanket. Episode 5. Our sleepover episode.
Welcome to episode 5.
Yeah.
Having a little sleepover today, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Quite late. It's already quite late.
It is quite late. We're having an actual sleepover.
An actual sleepover.
Not like some podcasts, as we know. Jokes.
If you know, you know. So today...
Yeah, today. What have we got in store for today?
Now that we've had some liquid courage,
Yes.
we've decided that we're finally going to talk a little bit about dating.
Well, we're going to talk about good dates, bad dates.
First dates.
Yeah, first dates.
Not the TV show. Our first dates.
Yeah, no. Yes. And not our first date. That's not a thing.
Me and Helen have never had a first date, nor will we ever. No offence.
No.
But yeah, so our first date with other people,
Quite.
specifically first dates with women.
And because I'm like a newly out lesbian, I don't really have that many first dates.
No.
So I'm just going to talk about mine and then maybe delve into a few dates I've had with men. Welcome to Femme Futch.
With Rhi Rhi and Helen.
Hello, I'm Helen.
I'm Rhi Rhi, and today we are wearing
Pyjamas.
pyjamas. We've come comfy.
We have.
So, Helen, you are wearing a...
I am wearing a masterpiece of a jumper. I think is the only way to describe it.
Well, it's not just a jumper.
It's not. It's super cozy. It is it's light purple with paw prints and bones all over it, and beautiful faces of my dog Albert all over it. It's wonderful. It's just such a beautiful jumper. How about you? You just
I've
in your cozy
got
pink pajamas.
some little pink and white pyjamas and a very, very fluffy... it's really weird. It's like a dressing gown.
I feel it.
But
Ooh.
it's also like a long cardigan.
Nice.
It doesn't have a belt. It's from M&S.
Love M&S. I feel like I've got into my 30s and I can now appreciate M&S.
We really are so old, aren't we?
We really are.
We've reached an age where we enjoy M&S.
Well, anyway, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened before, I'm Helen, go by she, her pronouns. I am a cis white woman and I am a lesbian. It's kind of the theme of the podcast.
Yeah. And I'm Rhi Rhi, or Rhiannon, and I'm also a cis white woman and also a lesbian.
We're best mates.
Yeah.
We've been best mates for like 10 years. Listen to previous episodes. We talk about it on our first episode, don't we?
How we met.
We've just kind of... We thought we'd do this podcast, talk about all things queer, and go into some deep dives on topics, give you some like LGBT history as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
And yeah, it's really fun so far.
Yeah.
Can't believe we're
little
like...
insights into our life. And
Yeah.
what we get up to, what we've learned, what we're learning.
Anyway, let's get into dating. So what was your first date with Laura, your current girlfriend? Tell me about that.
See, this is the thing I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we say, or I've heard it a lot online and in podcasts, current?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think it's an American thing.
Maybe.
They say my
God, it
current
implies,
partner.
Yeah, no,
And
like
I'm
it implies
like,
like you're not going to have her much
exactly.
longer.
So, I know.
Okay.
So, take out the current, we'll just go with partner.
So tell me about the first date
First
with
date
your...
with Laura. I think we matched on like Tinder and her. Kind of at the same time, and then I followed her on Instagram because we both had our Instagram and our Tinder and on her,
Nice.
and then waited for her to message me, obviously, of course, and then which she did, of course, and then so we chatted for like, I think it was like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, but when we say that, this is lesbians talking, so like if you took like a man and a woman, like a straight relationship, and you say you're going to chat for a week and a half and then go on a date, you don't know anything about each other. But with lesbians, it's like, I
You got
know
your
what
life
she
story.
does, I know all of her pets' names, I know her mum's name, her sister's name, like where she went to school. Like, we know everything already by
Gone in
that
depth.
point. If you talk for more than 3 days, you can meet the friends and have a conversation about them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So we knew each other already, of course, by this week and a half. And then we just went for dinner. It was quite quiet because it was on a Sunday. It was a Sunday night. That
My
we
first
went
date was
out.
on a Sunday too.
Oh.
Oh.
And we went in, and then there's like an upstairs and a downstairs. And downstairs there was like a few people. And I was like, oh, like, I wonder if there's anyone upstairs or if it's just downstairs. So I went upstairs, no one was there. And I was like, oh, like, I don't want to, like, I work in hospitality. Like, I feel bad for the staff and if I'm going to make them walk up and down the stairs to serve us. And then Laura's just like, no, we're having that one. And, like, we sat on, like, a big table of 6.
Nice.
And, like, with a bench seat down the back. And we, like, sat next to each other on the bench seat.
Aww.
But they do that, like, online ordering on your phone.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Like,
so you didn't have to get
we
out.
did that.
That's
just
cool.
Sat there and ordered on our phones.
I mean, that's really good for a first date. You can, like, just chat and you can...
It was good. We did. Just, like, talked for, like, 3 hours. But, yeah. But, no, it was really nice.
That's really sweet.
So cute. What did you and Sarah do?
So, our first date. So Sarah works nights and used to work on a Friday on like kind of like evening to night shift. So they finished at about 1 a.m. and they got home at 2 a.m. So they worked and I was like, oh, I'll stay up for you. We'll talk when you get back. Thinking like we'll talk for a few hours and I'll stay up. We ended up talking until like I think it was like 8 a.m. and then Sarah was like, okay, bye, I'm going to sleep. And I was like, oh my God, I have to get up for the dog.
Oh no.
I was so tired, but it was really lovely. It felt like a bit of a date because we were kind of like, we were drinking and just like messaging and like and talking and playing I've Never, just kind of really get to know each other, which was really sweet. And then we were talking about meeting up and I was like, I had a work event like about a week or 2 weeks after, so I was like, I'll just come around this Sunday. And they were like, okay.
Such a lesbian.
I know. And I was just like, well, this is the only opportunity. Can you do Sunday? They were like, yeah, I can do Sunday. Do you want to come here? I was like, okay. And we had like one video call just to check they were, like, who they said they were. And I went round and then left 2 days later. I mean, it was like an ultimate cliche. But for our actual first date, we went to the Van Gogh experience in Salford. It all moved and the artwork was animated essentially. It was really lovely. There was a beautiful sunflower room because obviously Van Gogh sunflower pictures, the really famous one, and they'd filled a room with sunflowers and there's mirrors so it looked like there were infinite sunflowers. And we had this cutest little selfie, which is just, really, really sweet. So those are our first dates with our partners. What about your first ever lesbian date?
Lesbian date. Oh. So good. It was in Leeds. It was when I lived in Leeds at the time. And we went to this bar, like that did some nice cocktails. And it was on like this little street in Leeds on Merrion Street.
Oh, cool.
We went in there and it was nice. But the most awkward thing happened. Like on my first date with her, I'd like also, like before I like decided that I was finally going to start dating girls, I've been on a couple of dates with this guy who was like like this guy that we know, like,
oh dear.
And I'd like made it very clear that like I didn't want anything. I'm on this first, and he knows that I'm like going on a date with this girl, like we've had a conversation
so, like,
about it. He literally knows when it's happening, where we're going.
Right, so
like,
full disclosure,
like,
it's not as if you're like
aware.
leading him on.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sat in the bar with this girl and he walks in, comes over to our table and introduces me to his dad and his brother.
His dad and his brother?
His dad and his brother were with him. And he was like,
and how did he introduce you? This is my friend.
Yeah. And then this girl was like, who's that?
Who's that? Just a friend.
So that was really awkward.
That's so awkward.
Just like not what you want to
oh my God, no.
happen
Not
on your first date. But other than that, it was great. But no, we had such a lovely time.
Did you? Did you see them again?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Ah,
it was.
That's good.
It was very much like the first date was just like very casual, very fun. Like it was really great.
Cute.
And then I naturally, when you go on a first date with a girl, like full head over heels in love with them instantly, because that's what happens. You're like, oh, finally it'll
lesbian
like
cliche.
make sense. Like, oh, this is great. But obviously she wasn't the right person for me because it was just a casual date. So
yeah. Oh, well,
I think we went. Yeah,
like,
I think we saw each other like a couple more times, and then
yeah,
and then she eventually ghosted me. So that was nice.
Oh no. ghosting
But
happens.
it's fine. Like,
yeah.
she didn't need to deal with my drama of like coming out as baby gay. So
that's fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, at least it wasn't a negative first date.
no.
Like mine was just, I was so terrified. I just didn't.
It's so scary.
I just remember feeling very overwhelmed and couldn't quite believe that I was on a date with a woman and then felt like an imposter. And she was so sweet though. She texted me before and was like, are you a hugger? Because like consent and everything, and obviously COVID has just happened. I don't want to just assume and then hug you. And I was like, I'm a hugger. Oh, I love you. Jokes. We only went on one date. It wasn't. We weren't like, we weren't gelling. It was cool, but there was never vibe there. No vibe. And she was just so much more experienced than me. It just felt like she wanted someone who was very comfortable in who they were.
Yeah.
Who they are.
Who'd done the learning already.
Yeah. And she didn't realise I was bi at that time because I'd put on my Her profile bi. And I was quite shocked that she didn't know because it was kind of like, I've literally just put that out there.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to date someone who's bi, then
it's
maybe just don't talk to me. Like, yeah. I don't like this, like, anti-bi-ness within lesbians. I just didn't really like the fact that as soon as she found out I was bi, it was like
was
a little shift, and that was a reason, and so that was a shame. I don't really get it.
I feel like this, like there was a lot of like biphobia, specifically from lesbians in the queer community, I think, and that it's just a very big subject really to unpack. There's a lot behind that, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of hate for like bisexuals from lesbians.
I guess there's a lot of bi erasure.
Yeah.
But like there's literally a B in the LGBT.
Yeah.
Like what else do you think it stands for? Brunch? Yeah. I mean,
lesbian, gays and brunch.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, burritos? Trying to think of something else beginning with B. But
I like brunch. Brunch is good.
Yeah, same. I like burritos.
Get rid
but
of the
like,
lies. We're having brunch instead. Sorry, guys.
But the poor bis, they're so within the letters, but they get so much hate, and kind of I experienced a fraction of that. But like not the hate, it was just more that maybe I didn't get as many matches. I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of my first experience. But I felt like it was a really good like learning curve for me because I put myself out there, and I was like, that was scary.
But you've done it.
They were lovely. We kind of like amicably were like, yeah, wasn't for me, more of a friend's vibe.
Yeah.
But thanks, no thanks. And however,
we have had some bad ones.
yeah. Now, you've been out for a bit longer than me.
Yeah.
You've had more experience, more opportunities for bad dates.
A few more girls.
Yeah.
So I've had a few more bad dates than you.
Uh-oh.
Bad dates. I once went on a date with a girl and we decided to go to this place that has like good vegan options, and then also they have like sort of booths that you can play PlayStation games in, and she was a gamer, so I was like,
that's
cool,
cool.
We'll like it here, so we'll go here.
That's thoughtful of you as well. Nice.
Yeah. So we've got some food and some games. Fine, great.
Fun.
So I arrive on this date, and as you all know, I'm quite like a femme presenting, and if I'm going on a first date, I will be there like looking quite glam, like quite fancy, like especially if we're going out for dinner, like it's a dinner date. So
that's kind of the bare minimum for a date.
Yeah. I mean, like I know that I go over the top, but
you put in effort. I mean, sorry, not what you were doing, but like putting in effort for a first date is the bare minimum.
Yeah. She comes in and she's got like gym leggings, trainers.
Oh dear.
But dirty trainers.
So not like styled trainers.
No. Like I don't know if she'd literally walked there through a field of mud or.
Oh dear.
And then she just had like a t-shirt, but like not a nice t-shirt. Like it was just like one that I have at the back of my drawer that I might wear for painting. Type of t-shirt sort of vibes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, but like don't judge a book by its cover.
True.
It's not about. But it was like we're not matching on the vibes here. That's fine. So we just have like a really awkward, like, small talk about nothing, and we get through the food.
Painful.
It was bad. We didn't really have a lot to say to each other, and then we get through the food, and I was like, right, shall we play some video games? Because I said about this, like, we may as well do it. Like, it will give us something to do.
An activity is always
to
good.
Make more small talk about the game. So we like go over and go into this PlayStation game thing, and it's only got a game that has one player.
Oh, great.
So then I was like, you play the game, like, I'll watch you play the game for a bit then, like, go on.
Thrilling.
And the game was rubbish. And after about 10 minutes, the game ended, and she was like, oh, do you want to play again? And I was like, I think I'm going to go home now.
I'm not surprised. Oh my God.
Like, oh, I'm just going to stay here and play the game for a bit longer. And I was like, oh, all right, I'll see you later. And then she did text me saying that she had a nice time, and I just never replied.
I mean, that was sweet of her, but like, wow. Like, turn up with the bare minimum effort. I mean, oh God. I mean, because I wear a lot of leggings. I'm a lot more cash, but like for a date, I will wear my smart leggings with nice shoes and my little leather jacket or something. The fancy leggings. Not the gym leggings. I would never turn up for a first date, or like jeans. I wouldn't turn up for a first date in like actual gym leggings and a shit t-shirt.
No.
She's
all parts of the date, not only just the outfit.
The whole thing just sounds...
just not a vibe.
Started bad, went to worse, and never improved.
No, never improved. Not worth the effort, not going back.
Have you got any others?
I went on a date once, and on the date, first date, we were talking. I think she even brought up this in the conversation. Okay. She was like, oh, when did your last relationship end? I was like, and I think for me it was sort of like, I don't know, like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then so I sort of said, oh, like a few weeks ago, how about you? And she sort of went, I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, less amount of time, more amount of time? Like a weirdly long amount of time? Like, are you about to tell me that you've never dated anyone ever?
Yeah.
Or have you never been on a date in like the past 5 years or something? I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many options there.
Yeah, so I was like, well, strange. Is it close, is it not? And she was like, And I was like, oh, so it's been less time? And she was like, yeah, less time.
Okay.
So I was like, 3 weeks. She was like, I was like, 2 weeks. A week. And I was thinking, well, we've been talking for longer than like a week now, so...
Oh, that's already crossing over.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
And then I said, yesterday? She was like, So I was like, oh, so...
What?
You're like still in a relationship right now? And she was like, oh yeah, we've decided we're open, and this is like my first date I've ever been on outside of a relationship. I was like... Is
that not something you put on your profile?
Is that not something you tell someone before they like go to Nottingham to see you?
You went to Nottingham?
I went to Nottingham.
Oh my God, Rhi. Oh. Okay, that's bad. That's long. That's really far away.
Not for lesbians. It's only like an hour and a bit.
Sorry, no, you're right.
Quite close around the corner. What about you? Bad dates?
I mean, I don't have any with women because I barely have any with women. So... my first date went fine. Like, you know, my second was fine, and then I met my partner, so all good. Yeah, I have had a really bad date with a man before, and honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I found, so it was on Tinder. I mean, like, Tinder I feel like is the scummiest of the scum apps. You find the weird and the wonderful.
Is something else.
It is something else. And this guy. I mean, this was the first red flag. As instead of a profile picture, he had like a PowerPoint presentation of reasons why you should date him, and I was like, this
instead
is
of a
funny.
picture of himself, it wasn't in his bio. It was
it was literally a picture. And then, but
why
like, he did have a
match with this person, let alone
he had a photo eventually, and I was like, he's not bad looking.
What do you mean eventually? There was more than one PowerPoint slide.
There was more than one PowerPoint slide. There was about 5, in fact.
Why have you not said no as soon as you saw the profile?
I thought it was funny. Anyway, I clearly thought it was so funny that I decided to go on a date with this guy. And yeah, it was awful. We went to a cocktail bar, He talked about himself, never really asked me anything. I was just kind of like, I feel like he's gone on a date with himself, frankly, and I'm like holding the cocktail chandelier person, you know. I don't know, I felt like an ornament. You know?
You're just there to listen.
Just there, it's decorative. And then the worst bit, that wasn't bad enough. We were like, okay, cool, I need to get the train. Shit, I'll probably get this one. Like the earlier one, they couldn't get me out of here. We go to the lift, and I get in the lift to go down downstairs, and he's like, oh, so can I kiss you? I was kind of like, no, I'm okay, thank you. Like, kind of quite politely. I mean, I don't know where he got the impression why I like actually wanted to kiss him after our date.
Is he delusional? Probably.
Probably. But then the worst bit was like when I had rejected him, he was just like, yeah, no, I didn't want to kiss you either. Something about your face. I kid you not. Something about your face, and I was like, okay, mate, thanks.
Something
about the face.
Something about your face.
Yeah, I know.
See, when he said like, oh, I didn't want to kiss you anyway, I was like, oh, he's a big man child, like they all are, always been rejected. Something about your face.
I know. So that was my worst date. It was pretty bad. Don't know where you go from there. It's just, sometimes dates are just so bad. And I remember like I've talked to so many people with like so many girlfriends and stuff who are just having such bad luck with men and trying to find someone who's decent, and just, you know, you've got like, how much of a feminist are you kind of questions. And I mean, I do not envy having to be straight and dating men.
So, dating. We've talked about our first dates with women. Mm-hmm. Shall we talk about the difference between dating women and men?
Yeah. No, this one's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because it's
so different. So different.
It's so different. And I think the biggest thing for me is women are so much more understanding.
Yeah.
And I think
emotionally intellectual compared to men.
And just like, obviously we've got similar functioning bodies.
Yeah. And
you're kind of like, that's fine, don't worry about it. It's all good. That happens, you know. And whereas men are like, you know, particularly when it comes to like periods and stuff, like if you're having a really bad time or like suddenly bleeding everywhere, it's like, it's no big deal. Cool. And I've never really experienced that. Like if it's been a bit more like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah, like with a man it's like, I don't want to see that or talk about that or have anything to do with that. Like, that's nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm. It's just that lack of kind of like awareness or like, you know, empathy for your partner.
Yeah.
That men
it's like
seem to
in
have.
Sickness and in health, like you should be able to look after your partner. Yeah. Like when bodily functions aren't going, like they do it for you.
Yeah.
If a man was really sick, he would expect his wife to care for him. So it should be the other way around as well.
I know. And I've got friends who like in straight relationships and like they're just like, they'll be really sick and the guy will be like, what's for dinner? Sorry, she's dying. Are you not going to just cook her dinner and bring it to her? Oh no, you expect her to get out of bed and cook it for you.
Sick. But like, then when you're sick, she has to do everything for you. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't miss it at all.
No, I'm not. Like, no. But women are just understanding, or women and kind of like non-binary people, like just queer relationships in general. I feel like there's not that male-female roles that you like go into or you fall into.
And then because as well, like with the typical like gender roles in straight relationships and like the jobs and the duties that like women fall under, I feel like they're all just so like you have to do the cooking and the cleaning and like you have to have the kids and like look after the kids and like that's all your responsibility. And like now especially as well, like you also have to work and put in the same amount of effort as a man would in the workplace, but then it's not changed at home. Like the man still just goes to work and does that and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it actually. It's like, it's the equality thing for me. Like it just feels like you're on equal level playing fields.
You're like you're in the same situation.
Yeah. And I've never felt like that while dating men, and it might be because it just like the imbalance was off because I wasn't meant to be dating men. It could have been maybe something like that, but it was just. But I also feel like, talking to my straight friends, there's still sometimes a imbalance, and you're still quite.
And it's the same
different.
imbalances.
Yeah, exactly. I much prefer dating women, non-binary people.
Yes, me too.
And being in queer relationships. It's funny though, like gender roles, they're so kind of. Like queer relationships just completely exist outside of that binary. Like you're just taking the binary, throwing it away, and getting rid of it, and getting rid of the stereotypes that you have to fall into, and kind of making it up as you go along. Like
and it's more like what do you bring to the table, and like putting it together. Yeah,
like different energies. Different styles of people, and you don't have to like reflect you're obviously a femme lesbian. That doesn't necessarily mean that you want to do all the cooking and cleaning.
No,
like you could be changing the tires and doing the plumbing and
only through necessity.
And
not by choice.
That's funny.
Like having a house is just a nightmare. Like I've learnt how to replumb a sink, change all the lights, and I don't mean just change the light bulbs, I mean how to refit like a new light socket. Everything.
You're just gaining all the.
I don't want to have to gain these things, Helen. I can't afford to pay someone else to do it, so I have to do it myself. House is so expensive.
Yeah.
Don't buy one.
Oh God.
Helen's currently buying a house.
Trying to buy a house. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
It will happen.
It will, hopefully.
And then you can learn how to replumb your own sink.
But I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait.
I'll show you the TikTok I watched.
Thanks. Yes, TikTok. Amazing. But yeah, it just, I don't know, you just start to be, like taking away those kind of traditional gender roles is really freeing, actually. And I guess that's another difference between dating men and women. It's free to be, you kind of like write your own narrative. That sounds so cliche, but it's not. You don't fall into patterns or anything, or traditional patterns, or when you're going out for dinner or something, you're not like automatically the man gets spoken to first, or gets offered the wine first, or something like that. I don't know. It's completely like,
If someone comes to my table, gets Laura to try the. Have you ever played the lesbian game? Like when you're on a date, like who are they going to offer the bill to? Have you not?
No, I haven't actually.
I feel like they would just go to Sarah.
Yeah, they've got the butch, like soft butch vibe going on, but then I'm more the top kind of energy.
Yeah. It can be a lot about like the way
the kind of mask energy. Yeah, actually, that reminds me. Like it just, the way like straight people are like, who's the man? Who wears the trousers in this relationship?
Who is the man? The fact that there isn't a man is the whole point.
It's literally the
point. There isn't a man because we don't like them.
No penises here. Just fake ones. Jokes.
Sometimes. But have you seen the TikToks though?
Well, I'm not on TikTok.
But sometimes I send them to you.
I know you do. Like, please send me more. I do enjoy them.
I'll send you some more. But there's some that have been going around at the moment.
Okay.
Well, mainly on lesbian talk. But it's just, if you're a girl and you've got a problem with a man, then there's a lesbian out there that can...
Get yourself a lesbian.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the saying. Like, whatever it is, live in a different country, they'll take you on a date. Like...
What was that one you showed me earlier? He won't drive 5 hours to come and see you for a date. Get yourself a lesbian. She'll fly over for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Just for that first date.
She'll come over for 2 hours. She'll travel 10 hours for a 2-hour date.
Or it'll last like 2 weeks, 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, lesbian date. It'd be worth the 5-hour travel because a lesbian date will last long. It's a little mini trip.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, we are very capable. And like, women are very capable regardless of whether they're gay or not. Yeah. And everyone needs a lesbian in their life.
They do.
But have you been listening to anything good? Watching anything good recently? Podcast?
I have, yeah. I've been listening, I listened the other day to I Can Explain. I really think that's a podcast.
And I don't know this podcast.
No, I keep sending it to you.
I know.
It's Brianne Williamson and Sean Lusk.
Brianne
Williamson,
okay.
But no, well, she goes by Brie.
Okay. I think I've heard you mention Brie. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
But I love Brie. She's great.
Yeah.
I can relate to her a lot. I think we just have like a lot in common.
Ah, that's cool. Same energies and vibes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Like also very similar situations in life.
That's cool.
Well, so that's nice. And then she's got like a best friend, Sean, on the podcast, and I like their relationship as well because it reminds me of mine with one of my friends, Hermione.
Oh.
So that's really cute. So I love listening to them. And then Sean's also just had his 30th birthday. So
nice.
they've just done an episode about that. So that was good. So.
Is she also 30?
No, Bree's a bit old. I think she's like... It's really funny because one of the jokes they have on the podcast is that she's like 509. So I know she's like early 30s. I think she's 33.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So like, yeah, very much our kind of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Similar ages.
What about you?
So I've been listening to one called Cruising.
Okay.
And I told you this one, I recommend it to you. And it's a lesbian podcast, and it's all about lesbian bars in America. And there's three queer friends who go on a road trip in an attempt to visit every lesbian bar in America. Now I say every, but there's only like 20 something, so it's not actually that much of a massive ordeal, to go on a road trip. They're unfortunately few and far between, and there's not even one in each state. There's a couple in one state, like there's like two or three in New York. But I really like the way they do it. It's quite a pro podcast. I was like, bloody hell, like this is really good.
I did have a little listen to I've listened to a little bit of one of them, and it's the one where they go to the Lipstick Lounge.
Okay.
I don't know if you listened to that one.
I can't remember if I have.
They go very in depth, don't they? Because I thought it was just going to be like, oh, we'll go here and like here's a little bit of the history, but they interview the owners, the staff, very in depth.
And I really like the way they do it. Like they have the background noise of the bar, and then they bring up an interview, and I was just like, oh, like this editing, like they're clearly pros. And the narration is really great as well.
Maybe they have an editor.
Maybe. Oh well, we're just roughing it.
We've just had like a little bit of a meltdown because we were having a little look at Alex Cooper. Call her daddy.
Oh my goodness.
Like her net worth and.
Well, yeah, because we were kind of like, I think how did we even get onto that? We're like, oh, do you listen to?
Well, because I told you about Call Her Daddy, and then we were looking at phones, and then it came up on yours, and you were like, have you watched this? And I was like, well, yes, because I've showed you it. Yeah. And
she recently had Christina Aguilera on. Yeah. Like, that's huge. Yeah. And then you were like, she's one of the biggest
I was like, she's
female.
The biggest
well, she
female.
is the biggest. Yeah. She's the second to Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. She's top 2 in the world.
Yeah.
Podcasts. And then number 1 for a female. And then I was like, her Spotify deal that she got was for like millions. I can't remember how many millions, but it was millions.
And then we were like, so how much does she get paid per episode? Like, she gets paid like 450k.
Yeah. And I was like, just take off the K, I'll have it. Like,
I mean, as we said, we'd be happy with like £450, 100.
Like, for all of it. You can have it all.
I'm a £4.50. I'm a cheap one.
An hour each, alright?
Amazing. But like, I think she's got a massive target audience and a massive audience. Like she's got like something like 5 million listeners per episode, which is just huge numbers. And I think it's fair enough. Like she's kind of like she's done it for a long time, a lot of years. And she's obviously doing it like it's quite a controversial mental health, relationships, sex and stuff. It's
heavily aimed on the sex.
Heavily, yes.
Used to be. Now more interviews, but also still there.
Well, now she can afford to get, like, these huge stars. But it's a good podcast. I quite like it.
I like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Fletcher one.
Yes. Well, that was the first one I ever watched of hers. Was
it?
Yeah.
No way. We need the lesbian to get us in. See, now she's broadened her market further.
Exactly.
We've fallen for it.
We got sucked in.
Oh, well.
To the lesbian loophole. Tangent. This episode is going to be a tangent episode because we're drinking, so...
Yeah. So, what is Rhi's Rage today?
Rage time. Rage time of the week.
This week. We normally do this earlier on in the episode, but we thought we'd finish with it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it away. Just sighing.
We've talked about how we don't like men a bit this episode.
We have.
Like this man the other day tried to tell me how to pour a pint when I was at work.
Tried to tell you how to pour a pint? Because it's your first day in hospitality?
Yeah, and he's never worked one before, so it means that he knows how to do it, so...
Wow.
So that was really annoying.
Fragility. A male fragility, maybe.
Like how you know it's a man.
But then that guy, like, having the audacity to tell you how to pour a pint.
It's like, I bet he's never poured a pint in his life.
But of course he's a man, so...
Yeah. And I'm a young woman, so I don't know anything.
Oh, Rhi.
You're
so lucky he was there for you. You're just...
Like, could you imagine?
What would you have done without him?
I'm surprised I even got the right drink to pour in.
I mean...
I couldn't pour it, but at least I chose the right drink.
You might have got confused with the pretty colours, though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, my brain is female, so...
Exactly.
It's about half the capacity it is, if not even less. Have you got any rages, Helen?
Have I got any rages?
And on that note...
Yeah, I think it's time for bed.
Good night. Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks for listening. This one's been a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
But
you'll have to let us know if you like it or if you really hate it. And then if you hate it, we'll go back to being smart and intellectual.
I mean, who are we kidding?
Goodbye.
Bye. Ooh, I'm sleepy. So cozy.
We can put that can be an outtake. So cozy.
So cozy. Yeah.
So cozy.
Oh gosh.